Hi Nick, happy Tuesday. Teaching stuff Tuesday. I'm riding my bicycle. That's happening. Nick, first thing before we get started on teaching you about corn, you were absolutely right, my friend. I don't know how I could forget Bomberman 64. So I would like to hereby formally remove Conker's Bad Fur Day from my slot number 5 of top 5 Nintendo 64 games and replace it with Bomberman, bumping Conker's Bad Fur Day down to a tied place number 6 with Mario Kart 64. That's right, Nick. I actually didn't forget about Mario Kart 64. Mario Kart 64 was a great game, and I played it a lot. But I felt like the Super Nintendo version was really good too, and there really weren't that many differences, which is the only reason it didn't enter the top 5. They're competitive slots, and I'm sorry, Mario Kart 64, you just didn't make the cut. Thing number 2, my personality type. I actually did tell you about my personality type in the other video, but it turned out to be way too long, and I had to cut that part out because I wanted the top 5s in. I am some 4 letters, I don't remember, but it said I was an inventor. And I didn't really feel like taking the test again just to figure out what the 4 letters were, because I feel like it's like astrology. Like you said. This brings us to Teaching Stuff Tuesday. Today we are going to talk about corn. The reason we're going to talk about corn is that the U.S. grows over 250 billion metric tons of corn every year. Billion. And I figured that something we grow that much of really should be talked about, and people should know about it more. First off, a little bit about corn. Corn hails from the grass family. Corn is an annual grass, producing both seeds and sex parts once a year. Sex parts. This is very much like other foods that we have from the grass family, such as wheat or barley. We typically like to call these grasses grains. These are not to be confused with the grasses that you cut with your lawnmower, which are typically perennial grasses. This grass was probably domesticated somewhere in what we know as modern-day Mexico, and probably by some people that we know as the Mayans. It's also important to note that corn is in everything these days. It's actually quite amazing. If you look at ingredients, you'll find corn almost everywhere, even in names that you don't know mean corn. Things like xanthan gum or citric acid typically is derived from corn. This all begs the question, why is there corn in everything? We are, after all, omnivores, and we're meant to eat a variety of foods. Why are we basing all of our diets around corn and its sister food, soybeans? Every few years you plant soybeans instead of corn because they're legumes and they replenish the nitrogen in the soil that you're depleting completely with all the corn that you're growing. So why has this food penetrated all of our foods, all of our processed foods? Why is corn in all of it? And why has it displaced most other farm foods in the country? As a matter of fact, most farms in America today are growing corn and soybeans exclusively. Now, I'm not one of those conspiracy guys. I'm not going to tell you it's a government conspiracy. As a matter of fact, the government actually openly subsidizes corn. That's right, that means that you get paid for corn no matter what the market price for it is that day. If the government says you deserve $2.50 per bushel of corn, and the market price that day is $1.30 for corn, you sell your corn on the market, and then you collect your government check for the extra $1.20. So you're getting paid no matter what. Now, I know you're familiar with simple economics, and you're probably asking yourself, how is it possible to sustain that? I mean, if they keep buying corn no matter what the price is, will that not create a glut in the market, constantly driving the prices of corn down even further so the government has to pay even more, yet we keep surmounting this excess of corn? Well, the answer is yes. As for now, that's all I'm going to say because I don't want this video to be too long. Nick, see you tomorrow.